The Sacramento Kings have shocked the NBA world numerous times this season. Coming into the 2022-2023 season, the Sacramento Kings have been in a playoff drought for over 15 years. They come into this season and they put that narrative right to bed as they finish with the third best record in the Western Conference with a record of 48-34. And I think it's safe to say that none of us saw this coming from the Sacramento Kings, not even me. And I was making videos on them this offseason talking about how, or I should say last offseason, talking about how they're going to be a much better basketball team with the offseason moves that they were making, bringing in Coach Mike Brown, drafting Keegan Murray, signing Malik Monk, and then making a trade for Kevin Huerter. I think we all knew that they were going to be a better basketball club than last season, but I did not see them jumping all the way up to third place in a very loaded Western Conference. And even right now, to this day, they are still shocking the NBA world. They are currently in a dogfight of a playoff series with the Golden State Warriors that has been very entertaining so far, and they lead this series 2-0 against the defending champs. Now, the first thing I want to say before we dive into the basketball part of this series, I just want to say that I think it's lived up to its hype so far, and I love the narrative surrounding it. We have the Sacramento Kings, who have not been to the playoffs in over 15 years. I believe the last time they were in the playoffs was 2006, and you could just tell all season long, man, the Sacramento Kings, they've had one of the best home crowds. And I was watching game 1 and game 2. And I swear to you guys, every time the Sacramento Kings scored or every time they got a big defensive stop, the crowd was so loud that I'm not even in the arena, but I'm getting chills all over my body. That's how loud the fan base has been for this game. And then on the other side, we have the Golden State Warriors, who have been terrible on the road all season long, but they're still the defending champs, and they have 4 championships over the last 7 or 8 years. So it's just a fantastic series, and I think it's lived up to the hype so far. And I also think that there's a lot of things to take away from this series that's happening on the basketball court. Now, one of my biggest takeaways as far as things that's happening on the basketball court, I think the Sacramento Kings have been so much better on the defensive side of the ball than we all anticipated. Coming into this series, they ranked 24th in defensive rating, and the Golden State Warriors, they have one of the best offenses in the NBA, and they put up the second most points per game behind the Sacramento Kings. They put up 118 points per game. Now, in game 1, the Golden State Warriors did get above their total points per game, but in game 2 they did not. The Sacramento Kings held them to 106 points, so that's 12 points below their average, and that's very impressive given that the Sacramento Kings are not known for being a defensive team. Now, what I've been watching is that the Sacramento Kings, they have been doing a great job switching. They can when we look at the Golden State Warriors, that's one thing they love to attack. They love to try to get mismatches, and they try to get slower players on Klay Thompson and Stephen Curry so they can let go of that 3 ball. If you look in recent past and you look at teams that have played the Golden State Warriors with super bigs, guys like Rudy Gobert, Clint Capella, guys that can't get out there and hedge on those 3-point shots, the Golden State Warriors makes those type of bigs unplayable. But with the Sacramento Kings, they have Domantas out there, and Domantas is a very mobile big. He's probably 6'9", 6'10", and he's very quick on his feet. So he's been doing a great job switching. And what I love about Domantas, the way he's playing defense, the Sacramento Kings, they still have a big out there that can dominate inside the paint. Domantas dominates on the low block, and he also dominates on the glass. And then you just have guys who can play outstanding individual defense. Harrison Barnes has been stepping up his individual defense, and so has Davion Mitchell. And you gotta love what you've been seeing from Davion Mitchell, because not only is he making an impact on the defensive side of the ball, but he is not being a liability offensively either. So I'm loving what I'm seeing from the Sacramento Kings. I think their switching has been on point so far this series, and they've been able to match the Golden State Warriors' speed on the perimeter. So we talked about defense. I feel like we also have to talk about the offensive side of the ball. And so far in this series, the Sacramento Kings have been great, in my opinion, because they've been able to stick to their game plan. They've been able to do all season long what has made them the best offense in all of the NBA. They're still getting into their dribble handoffs for their shooters, for Keegan Murray, for Kevin Huerter, Harrison Barnes. They're still posting up Domas, and it's being effective. He's drawing a lot of attention. He's getting to the free throw line, and also De'Aaron Fox, his pick and roll game is still being played at a high level. So I feel like whenever you can come into the playoffs, because the playoffs it's like a game of chess. You want to take away what your opponent does best, and so far in this series we have not seen the Golden State Warriors do that to the Sacramento Kings. So I feel like the offense is looking great, and I'm loving what I'm seeing from the Kings. And now we can get into some individual impacts, and I want to start with Sabonis. Now, I think Sabonis has been fantastic so far in this series. If I've had to grade him so far, I would give him an A. And I know he had a rough shooting night in game 1, but if you watch that game, and if you could just like feel the atmosphere, if you was watching it at home through your TV, you could feel the atmosphere, and I think the adrenaline was just so crazy. And he was playing out of his mind from the start. In the first quarter, I think he grabbed like 7 rebounds, and I know he had a rough shooting night. He finished shooting like 5 of 17 from the field, but a lot of those were some looks at the basket that he usually makes. But what I'm loving from Sabonis that I'm saying in this series is that he's matching the physicality of Draymond Green, and we all have been watching Draymond Green over the years. He's not a player that will hesitate to try to punk or try to bully you, but Sabonis, he hasn't been going for it. He has not been going for it so far in this series, and he's been matching that physicality of Draymond. He was so physical with him last night. I guess he got under Draymond. He got under Draymond's skin enough for Draymond to stump him out in the chest, and then Draymond was tossed from the game. And we all know that's a whole different team without Draymond Green, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So I'm loving what I'm seeing from Sabonis. He's playing with high energy. He's crashing the defensive and the offensive glass every single play. He's still posting up. He's still setting effective screens for his guys in the dribble handoff, and I think he's been fantastic in this series so far. So Sabonis, we talked about him, and now we're going to get into Malik Monk. Now, with the way Malik Monk has been playing so far in these playoffs, I know the Lakers are wishing that they could afford him, because he's been everything and some that the Sacramento Kings have brought him in for this season. He was brought in to be that spark plug off the bench and be the guy to keep that offense running smoothly while other guys is on the bench, while Sabonis is on the bench, while De'Aaron Fox or Kevin Huerter is on the bench. And he had a spectacular game 1. You can make a case that he was the reason that they won the game, because he was being so aggressive. He got to the free throw line 14 times, and he made all 14 of his free throws. And I just think that's very crazy that he's able to come off the bench and be that aggressive and get to the line 14 times. And no matter who was guarding him, Jordan Poole, Stephen Curry, Dante DiVincenzo, he was being aggressive and he was getting to his spots. And we all saw the graphic, him and De'Aaron Fox. They're the first pair of college teammates in a very long time. I forgot who were the last players to do it, but they were the first pair of college teammates in a very long time to combine for 70 points in a playoff game. So those guys were spectacular in game 1. And Malik Monk, he also had another good game. He didn't score 30 points in game 2, but he put up 18 points off the bench. And when you can get somebody off the bench to give you 15 plus in a playoff series, that is a huge win. So I believe Malik Monk, he's also been special in this series so far. And last but certainly not least, we have De'Aaron Fox. So De'Aaron Fox is a player that I feel like has been slept on all season long. And I don't know if you guys remember, but he was not originally selected for the All-Star team. And I thought that was a bit disrespectful. But some guys got injured, and They gave him the nod. Respectfully, I think he should have been in before guys got injured. But nonetheless, man, has he put on a show in these playoffs. And game one was nothing short of spectacular, especially what he did in the second half and also in the fourth quarter, because his 3-point shot was not falling in the first half. And then I think he came out in the second half and he knocked down about 3 or 4 3-pointers. When I tell you, man, this is why I love playoff basketball, and I'm loving watching these Sacramento Kings home games, because when he knocked down those threes, the crowd just erupted and it was so loud, so loud. And I just think atmospheres like that is so good for the game of basketball. But De'Aaron Fox, he has been spectacular all season long, and he's been able to play his game, and he's getting it done in so many different ways because they're throwing so many different matchups at him, and whatever matchup they throw at him, he knows how to attack the weakness. They had Sabonis and him running the pick and roll. Looney is guarding Sabonis. Looney is not mobile at all, and so he's sitting in the drop coverage. He uses that screen, and De'Aaron Fox gets right to his left-hand floater. Same situation. Looney still guarding the pick and roll. This time he tries to get up and hedge. He blows right past Looney, and he gets an easy layup at the rim. And then also he's able to isolate guys. He's isolating on Draymond Green, who's a great defender. He's isolating on DiVincenzo. He's isolating on Gary Payton II. All these guys are great individual defenders. And then in game 2, the Golden State Warriors, they came out and said that we're not gonna let you get 38 points again. So he did a great job at setting up his teammates, and he still finished with 24 points. So I think so far this series has been the most entertaining series so far. These fourth quarters continue to get crazier and crazier, and the Sacramento Kings home crowd has been amazing. The Golden State Warriors, their home crowd is going to be amazing too. So I think this atmosphere and this intensity is going to keep up, and I'm definitely not going to miss a single game of this series. But that's going to be it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like, comment down below if you agree or disagree, and then subscribe for more weekly content. We do this all the time, man, and that's curtains.